Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Power Core Productions and Podcastings. I'm your host, Jerron Harrington, back to hit you with another video. And today, I'm going to be doing a special reboot of a part of a series that you guys have been rather fans of for a while now. A series that we did earlier in the channel, that being the Naruto Yokai series, Naruto Yokai Shippuden, What If Sasuke Uchiha Was a Girl, Part 7, the Epilouge. Now, as you know, there was originally an epilogue on the channel, but I had to take that down and I am re-recording it, mainly because the audio, while I know a lot of you guys didn't really complain about the audio, when I recorded that video, I was on vacation at the time and I was right beside like another room when I was doing it, and they had the news blaring at like 3 in the morning. It was really loud, really annoying, and every time I listen back to the video, all I can hear is the other channel, and I really just didn't feel good having that on the channel as a whole, mainly because I don't like poor audio content. Like, I really don't. Like, I try to record in the isolated rooms that I have so that I can block out as much noise as possible. So when I hear other noise picking up on the audio, that kind of like just makes me cringe a lot, because I know that if I can hear it, you guys can definitely hear it. I mean, I'm trying to record, don't really want CNN playing in the background, so that's why I've decided to re-record the final part of this series. But also, it's to keep you guys up to date, because I know some people have been asking, are we going to go into the Boruto era with this series? And I've decided that we are. Now, I'm not going to go into the Boruto portion for every Naruto series that I make, simply because I feel like there are certain series where it really wouldn't be necessary. But I do think that for this series, I definitely want to, because the world is going to be very different. And I will give you a brief rundown, before we get into the Boruto era, because in case you haven't been caught up on the story, there are a lot of changes. There are a lot of characters who survive in this version of events that aren't in the Boruto era. For example, Asuma is still going to be alive when we go into the Boruto era. Itachi is still going to be alive when we go into the Boruto era. There are going to be different shippings, different characters who are going to be in the Boruto era than before. And, some things are going to have to be changed around, but the story plots will remain just about the same all in all. But, that's just something to keep in mind going forward as we move on with the series of Naruto Yokai. What's the name for the Boruto era series? I'm not sure yet, but we'll figure it out when we get there. So do stay patient. In the meantime, news will come out, so make sure you watch the community tab so you can stay up to date on everything that is Power Core Productions and Podcastings. But anyway, without further ado, we're going to get into today's video. So as always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. It was a warm and beautiful day in Konoha. The streets were rather silent, but that was all due to the anticipated day. The day that had long since been awaited and now had finally come. The marriage of the Hidden Leaf's two greatest heroes was taking place. The ceremony was already being arranged, and the guests were already making their way to the venue. Konohamaru would be walking the streets, while the other boys were getting Naruto prepared. He had to stop and pick something up for his older brother. At least to Konohamaru, that's what Naruto was to him. As he made his way down the street, he would bump into a certain girl who was also on her way to the venue. Her name was Hanabi Hyuga. The girls were also busy getting Satomi ready for the wedding also, but Satomi had left something at her place and Hinata sent her younger sister to go and get it. The two of them, bumping into one another on the road as they were on their way to the same place, made small talk in the brief time that they were together. Hanabi congratulated Konohamaru on making the rank of Chunin, and Konohamaru also praised her for her accolades and for the missions that she had been going on. He had heard that she had been doing a good job, and that in all likelihood, she was going to be leading the Hyuga clan someday. The two of them would tease one another for a bit before eventually making their way to the venue. While not much would go on from there, at the very least, there was a spark. As for the other members of Konoha, the current Hokage, the 6th Hokage, Kakashi Hatake, was sporting a newly made eye patch over his left eye. You see, during the events of the 4th Great Ninja War, when the battle had come to an end, Kakashi had sadly lost his Sharingan eye. Though thankfully, there was one more that he could use. Itachi Uchiha still maintained the eye of his late friend, Shisui Uchiha. And deciding that the world still needed Kakashi Hatake of the Sharingan, he offered the Sharingan eye to Kakashi, believing that if there was anyone who could master its abilities, anyone who could be trustworthy of using this power, it would be him. Kakashi took the eye gratefully, and after undergoing his own training, he was able to use its power to a certain extent. While he couldn't make a full Susanoo, he was able to make the upper body half of the green Susanoo, the Susanoo that used the mighty drill, as well as the other Mangekyo Sharingan abilities. Of course, he had to be careful, as he didn't want the Sharingan to drain away at his chakra. And so, a special eye patch was made for Kakashi. An eye patch that he could wear whenever he didn't feel like putting his headband over his eye. And even still, his headband had the same patched seal inside of it. This seal basically worked as a way to mask the Sharingan, or it would be similar to an Uchiha cutting their Sharingan off. This allowed Kakashi to not run low on chakra, seeing as how the Sharingan was activated 24/7. As he were at the venue with Iruka, the two of them watching over the proceedings as the ceremony was going to start very soon, they would reflect on everything that happened, everything that led to this point. Iruka teased Kakashi a little bit about he and Anko and their relationship, wondering when they were going to settle down. Kakashi merely brushed it off, stating that he was a little tied up being Hokage at the moment, and they didn't think it would be right to try to put a relationship on top of that. Though, they had made the promise that when Naruto were to become the next Hokage, and Kakashi was finally able to step down and go into retirement, they were going to focus on themselves for a bit. Everyone was abuzz, and there seemed to be a new form of life throughout the village that day. A sense of excitement and wonder, hope for the future, as if they were taking the next step in their lives. Naruto was in the groom's room alone. He had been with the boys for a while. They had gone out for drinks the night before. Naruto reflecting and thinking about everything that he had been through. Everything he had gone through with Satomi up until now. Although it wasn't just Naruto who were experiencing these changes in his lives. Everyone around him were experiencing something. Shikamaru, Choji, Lee, Neji. They even befriended a boy named Sai, and he too had feelings for a certain girl. A girl he had met during Pain's invasion all those years ago. It seemed as though now they were starting to get older, to mature, entering into their adulthood, not knowing what was in store for them. But they knew that no matter what, they would get through it together in the most part. As for Satomi, as she were getting dressed in her yukata and preparing, she was very nervous, almost self-conscious. The other girls could see this, and they kind of started to giggle amongst themselves. Satomi getting very angry and almost threatening to unleash her Susanoo as everyone had to calm her down to stop. What made her self-conscious was rather, she wanted to look good for this day. Under normal circumstances, she never really cared about how she looked. Naruto was a goofball that loved her no matter what she wore. She could be in a hoodie and some sweatpants and Naruto would still think that she was an absolute 10. But this was her wedding. A day that she had thought about for some time now. And her main problem was trying to get her hair straight in a way that she could cover her Rinne sharingan. She was very self-conscious, and even though it was a part of her power, something that no one would look down upon, a part of her missed having both of her eyes, her original black eyes. She wondered if Naruto would see her a little bit differently because of this. The other girls would reassure her that everything was fine, and that she didn't have to worry about trying to cover it up. In fact, they thought that it looked kind of cute. But of course, telling Satomi that was easier said than done. Eventually, though, they were able to set it up in a way that she would approve. And the girls and the guys would leave the bride and the groom respectively in their rooms. The both of them waiting, as they knew when they opened their doors they would see one another. Neither of them knew what they were going to say at this moment. Of course, this was something that they had talked about for a while now, but the idea that they were actually going to do what they were about to do, it seemed as though it were nothing but a dream. But all the same, each of them would take a deep breath. They would ask for some strength. And after one final look back around their rooms, they would reach for the door handle and open them. As they walked into the main room, they would get a chance to see one another for the first time. Beside them both was a large window, allowing them to gaze and look upon the Hokage monument. As they both slowly walked towards one another, the two of them meeting in front of the stone face of the fourth Hokage, Naruto's father. The two of them would shyly keep their eyes off of one another at first, even though they both truly did want to see the other. It only felt as though that things were different now, that nothing was quite the same as how it used to be. You look handsome, Naruto. Oh, thank you, Satomi. You're pretty cute yourself. Pretty cute, huh? Yeah, you know, I think you are. You know, for such a knucklehead, you can be pretty bashful when you want to be. It's not because I want to be, you know, it's just... Just what? I don't know. It's different now. I mean, we're, about to get married, I know. Who would have thought? Everyone, apparently. Yeah, you're right. As the two of them lifted their faces to see one another, they would both blush and turn bright red instantly. Satomi getting a chance to see Naruto, and Naruto getting a chance to see Satomi. Naruto would reach out his hand towards her, moving it towards her hair, the hair that covered her Rinne sharingan. Satomi reached up her hand instantly, holding it at Naruto's, trying to stop him. Don't touch a girl's hair like that. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just, you're really trying to cover up your... I know I am. But, why? You wouldn't understand. Come on, you can tell me. Drop it, Naruto. I mean, there's no point in trying to hide anything. I mean, we're kind of about to be stuck with one another. What do you mean, stuck? I mean, I don't mean it like that. I'm just saying, there's no reason... Oh, man. I don't think it looks good, Naruto. What? I think it's badass. Yeah, but, don't you think I'm different? I mean, I used to have 2 regular eyes, and now I have this purple Rinne sharingan thing. Don't I look kind of... No. Naruto would move past her hand, pushing her hair away, looking deeply into her Rinne sharingan eye. I think it's beautiful, Satomi. That eye is a sign of your strength, of all of your training and hard work. I appreciate that about you above anything else. You dummy. What? It's true. I've never seen anyone work as hard as you do. You put your all into everything. Honestly, I'm kind of jealous. You? Jealous of me? I mean, yeah. When we were in the academy, you always had your stuff together. You were always far and above ahead of me in every way. I always said that I wanted to be able to stand by you. And sometimes I don't feel like I'm worthy enough. I want to be as strong as I can. Not just for my village, but for you. But Naruto, you say you're jealous of me, but I've been just as jealous of you. You've always had a strength, one that even I have to admit that I lack. Despite everything you've been through in your life, you've always been able to hold strong, to stand by your convictions no matter what. But I faltered in mine. I almost gave myself to Orochimaru. I was so desperate for power, so desperate for revenge, that I didn't stop to see things clearly. I always acted like I had my stuff together, but deep down inside, I always felt as though I were one push away. I always felt as though I was hanging on by a string. To be honest, if it wasn't for you, I don't know what I would have done. I don't know how many things I would have done that I can't take back. And even now, I don't feel worthy to be beside you. I feel helpless. I mean, what does it say about me if I always need someone to watch over me? It means that you're like everyone else. Bonds don't make us weak, Satomi. they make us stronger. The bond that you and I share for this village, it's what allows us to protect it. And the bond between the two of us directly, it's what gives me the strength to keep going. Satomi, I couldn't say this when we were younger. When I grew up, I didn't have a mother or a father. I didn't know what it meant to be loved by parents. I didn't know what it felt like to have a sibling. To be honest, I didn't know much about love at all, and I thought it was something that I could never have. Even when this village was against me, when I felt as though I had no one, I had you. And slowly but surely, I've grown to have a family of my own. I have Iruka-sensei, Kakashi-sensei. I have my friends. I have Itachi. He's like a brother to me. But most importantly, I have you. And having you is something that I can never take for granted. I love you, Satomi. I love you more than anything else in this world. I would give up everything if it meant that you would be okay. Even my dream of being Hokage, it means nothing to me if you're not here. Don't say something like that, but it's true. That's how I feel. I would give up being Hokage. I would give up pursuing that title. I would leave it all behind for you. And I know that when I do become Hokage, I know that just like my father before me, I know that like the ones who have come before me, the day may arise when I must lay down my life for this village. And I want you to know that when I do so, if I must, I don't just lay down my life for this village. I do it for the ones that I love. For the girl that I love above all else. Naruto. I feel the same. I know that I too might have to lay down my life for this village. And I know that you, as Hokage, you may have to make that decision. And you should know that if that day ever came, I wouldn't just lay down my life because you were my Hokage. I do it because you are my first and my only. Because I love and cherish you above all else. And for you, there is no sacrifice that is too much. You are the man that saved me, that pulled me from the darkness. And that is something that I can never repay, no matter how long I live. But I hope that for the time that we are together, that the life that we share, I hope that I can make you happy. I hope that I can be the one that brings you joy. As the two of them exchanged their vows to one another, they would seal their ceremony with a kiss. And upon doing so, they would walk hand in hand as the light of the future shined upon them, and their story For many, they would say it had come to an end. But this is not the end for Naruto and Satomi, but rather, this is a new beginning. The story of the boy who wanted to become Hokage and the girl who wanted to avenge her clan. Their stories were now to be joined as one. And from here, Naruto Uchiha Uzumaki and Satomi Uchiha Uzumaki together, they would create a new story that would live on for eternity. This concludes Naruto Yokai Shippuden. What if Saskue Uchiha was a girl? Part 7, the Epilogue. As always, if you enjoyed today's content, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. But with that, we're going to bring an end to today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.